All right, guys, visualize with me. Say you're at the golf course, you're lining up for a shot, and you have the wrong club, right? I know my form is great, but I want to impress upon you, you guys don't have enough clubs to be as successful as you want to be in real estate. Now think of each club as a different exit strategy. Low equity deals, high equity deals, listing the house, building a team to pass that down to your team. The more clubs you have in business, when you're prepared to hit the shot, when the shot comes up, the more you will capitalize. So golf has a lot of similarities to business, especially real estate. And if you went out to the course tomorrow to play 18 holes and you had 2 clubs, the boomstick, your big driver, and a putter, you're not gonna do very well. What happens when the ball lands in the sandbox? What happens when the ball lands in the rough? You are not going to be able to perform the way that you need to be. And in business, this operates the same way. So a lot of you contact me all the time saying, what should I do with a lead as it comes into the office? Should I flip it? Should I rent it? Should I list it? Should I wholesale it? What should I do with this lead? And we're gonna look at that in detail in today's video. We're gonna compare things based off equity positions, condition of the property, interest rate, and type of loan. Now, the first example, we're gonna look at a high equity lead. This is the same house. We're gonna look at different positions that the same house could have as far as condition as well as interest rate on the loan and equity position. But let's say for this first one, the market value for the house is $200,000, but the loan on it is $90,000. There's a big equity position. This is the reason why you wanna go after high equity deals, discounted deals. You can pretty much make any strategy work. You could flip it, you could keep it, you could wholesale it, you could buy and list it, you could list it as is in its current condition, you could pass that down to an agent on your team, right? So it's important, guys, remember, to be a full 360 degree real estate professional, you need to be both a real estate agent and an investor. You don't have to do both full time, but you wanna be able to hit the shot if the shot comes up. If it lands in the sandbox, you don't wanna be playing with a putter. If a $500,000 house falls in your lap and you're just an investor and you do not have a license or an agent on your team, how are you gonna capitalize on that transaction, right? That's a big commission. So think about this, guys. High equity, anything you wanna do. Now here's where a lot of people get caught. They're spending a lot of money marketing, they're spending thousands of dollars on postcards, or they're putting out, building a cold calling system, putting out a lot of calls. What happens if a deal comes in, it's got low equity and a low interest rate? This same house right here, let's say they owe $182,000 on it. That has a little bit of equity, but not enough to buy the house as an investment at a discounted price, right? How are you gonna buy the house and turn it around and make a profit on it with closing costs, carrying costs, and needing to still have a spread, right? So what you can do is, you could do a potential lease option on this property if it is allowed in your market. You can do a contract for deed if it is allowed in your market, and you could do a potential subject to deal in your market. That is if the interest rate is low and you want to take over that interest rate. So these are the different options. Now, you could also potentially list this property as well. But what happens if it has low equity, but it has a high interest rate, like an 8% interest rate? One of the things that we're doing right now is we're working rejected refinance leads, and a lot of these individuals got put into a loan, 6.75%, 8%, 9%, and the lender was like, well, let me put you in this short-term loan, maybe just for a year. We're gonna help you get your credit up, and we're gonna help you cash out refi into a lower interest rate, and we're gonna help you get your credit score up along the way. But how often does that actually happen successfully? Not very likely, right? So what happens if this individual calls you and they owe $187,000 on the house, and it's an 8% interest rate, and it does not cash flow, right? What are you gonna do with it? Well, if you don't have a real estate license to help them and you can't list that property, or you can't do something very, very creatively with it, how are you gonna capitalize on that deal? So you need to start looking at things as far as equity, condition, and interest rate. Let's say high equity, the first one, why condition is important is, what if it comes in and it's got a $90,000 loan on it, huge spread, but it's a massive, massive rehab. It's gonna take you months to get this done. You're gonna have a lot of stress and a lot of time involved in doing this. A lot of you need to start looking at things, not just return on your investment, but return on your time and return on your emotion and your energy and your stress. Because making $20,000 on a flip that you put little time in versus $20,000 on a flip that you put a lot of time in and had contractors just driving you up the wall, that is not the same deal. And a lot of people are only looking at a percentage basis off of what the ARV is, based off a percentage 0.8 minus repair costs and whatever your strike point is, right? So a lot of you need to start thinking, how much time will I put in this deal as well? How much stress is this deal gonna cause me? How far is it in proximity to where I live? These are things that you need to start weighing in, because too many investors I see just look at statistical numbers, I guess you could say, right off pen and paper, and they're not weighing in all the other elements it takes to be a successful real estate investor. Because what if you wasted all this extra time on here? You did make 20 grand, but with the extra time, you could have found 3 more deals that made you 20 grand a piece. You lost a lot of money, even though you made money. So start thinking of it in this way, I guess you could say. So you always want to look at condition. If it's a massive, massive headache, guys, just buy and list it. Or if you're a wholesaler, wholesale the property. Or you can just list that property as is for that homeowner if you're an agent, right? And then you need to look at things right here, or look at interest rates in these other 2 scenarios, because you don't want to take over a bad loan that's negative cash flow. So you got to look at things as far as interest rate, condition of property, stress levels to get that deal done, and as well as what type of loan they have on the property. So I hope this helps a little bit when these leads come in on deciding what you want to do with it. But ultimately, the underlying theme of this video is make sure you have the club ready to hit the ball when that shot comes up. Because if it does, and you're trying to figure it out live time, one of those just-in-time learners, it doesn't usually go very well, and that's how big mistakes happen in the marketplace. If you like the video, guys, hit the notification bell, the subscribe button, leave a comment below, and I'll see you on the next one here in a few days. See you when I see you.